Hey guys, this is going to be an unboxing and review of the Zoids Wild Fang Tiger right here. As usual, the timestamp of the footage of it in motion is in the description below, and let's just get started. Alright, let's take a look here. Nothing too unusual going on with the box. We've got... I think they usually face this way. I just sort of realized, but other than that, yeah, pose the Zoid can't actually accomplish. On the back here we have bone mode, regular mode, wild blast mode, and yeah, you can see here looking at this, the bone mode is identical to the wild liger's bone mode, which is why we're going to skip that part. Anyway, we have, of course, the usual Zoids Wild packaging here. There is you know what, I'm going to take the backs out first. The B bag containing the very bright yellow armor. A bag with all the bone mode stuff. The S bag with the caps and the mechanics. And we have the motor here, and the wild blast mode contraption here. Well, and that's it for the unboxing, folks. I didn't explain this in the intro because I don't want to do too much front loading, but I accidentally selected all of the audio for the rest of the unboxing and the build with the built-in microphone of my laptop instead of the external one, and so it came out sounding like I'm shouting at my laptop from across the room, and it's just completely unusable. So what I've done is we're just not going to do the unboxing because I can't do it anymore. I've just taken the armor pieces back off of the skeleton, and I'm just going to show you guys how those go on. Which is really all I was going to show of the build anyway, because if you have a wild liger or if you've seen my review, then this is going to look very familiar. There's only a very small number of differences here to the wild liger skeleton, which is that the feet look a bit different. This tooth piece is different and has longer fangs here because this is supposed to be a saber-toothed tiger. And this piece here with these two pistons in the neck that helps the head movement looks different. And that's it, other than, of course, the this wild blast mode contraption, which I kind of wish I still had footage of me looking at that in a bit more detail. And the two blades here are different, of course. You'll also see when I run it that actually the wild blast mode works a little differently from the wild liger. But the skeleton here underneath, other than the feet and the teeth and these pistons, exactly the same. So let's get the armor attached here. The first thing that goes on is this thing here that basically covers up the power switch, which I've just operated. And then we also have this weird little piece here that goes on the tail, and that for some reason, you've got this thing here that can expose this little blade here that's otherwise tucked away, because it's really important for big blades on a Zoid to be safely covered, which is why these are completely exposed, right? Next we have the pilot seat, which goes on the neck like so. And one of the things I already noticed the first time I built this guy is whenever you're doing anything to do with the head, this tends to happen. Which is actually kind of cool, to be honest. You can operate this all manually if you want to pose them with the blades exposed. But it's kind of a pain because you keep having to hold on to the head from the bottom. And now this, I honestly I don't know what this is. This looks like, the first time I built it, I thought it looks like a rooster tail. Now it almost reminds me more of the Roadrunner from the old Looney Tunes cartoons, which is good because I like old school Looney Tunes. Anyway, that goes on the back here for some reason. I don't know, because Japan, I guess. And then next we have these two chest armor pieces here, which are kind of a pain to attach. For the sole reason that the legs are in the way, and of course the reason the legs are in the way is because they want you to build the skeleton for bone mode before you put the armor on. And now I have to sort of notch this in place under the legs here. I mean, I could just take them back off, of course, but too stubborn to do that. One thing that's worth pointing out here is, there's this little armor piece here that extends from this, which just makes the neck overall look a bit beefier because it doesn't have a mane like the wild liger, right? So they needed to do something here so that the neck didn't look too scrawny. It's a pretty cool, simple solution to that works really well, with this round edge here lining up with the rubber cap. Next this torso armor here, and now because I've already put the sticker on, it's easy to tell which one goes where. One thing about the stickers here, by the way, and this is becoming a bit of an issue with a lot of the more recent Zoids Wild Kits, is that this one too, this one actually doesn't fit. You probably can't see this, but the corner protrudes into this panel line here, and I really should have cut that off. There's a lot of more recent Zoids Wild Kits where I've noticed that the stickers don't fit. You get instructions on where to put them, and then they're too big for the area that they're supposed to fit on top of. And yeah, since these stickers are ugly and you shouldn't use them anyway, I probably shouldn't be making such a big deal out of this, but it's just something that bothers me because it just smacks of, I don't know, poor planning, sloppy design. Also, the NJR Zoids had very similar problems, if you remember. Anyway, next we put on this leg armor, and this is one of my favorite aspects of the design of the Zoid, just because, you have the three collars here, like this round edge around the green rubber cap, and then the yellow here that fits around that. It just makes for a really nice collar separation and sort of gives it I don't know what it is exactly, but this to me always gives things sort of a believable mechanical look because because I don't know, I can just sort of, it doesn't do anything, but you can imagine if these parts rotated around one another. Anyway, leg armor on the opposite side, as I apparently forget how to attach things. Here we go, same thing here. One thing I'm still thinking about doing, by the way, is panel lines, but there's really one of the more disappointing aspects of this kit is the lack of detail on the armor pieces. Overall, you'll see when it's all put together, it actually looks pretty cool. But I really think the armor bits could have done with a bit more detail. Anyway, we put the head. Actually, at this point, I would put the eyes on, but I didn't take these back out. The reason I left them in, by the way, in case you hadn't figured this out yourself, is just I'm worried I'd have to pry these out with a blade, and I'm just worried that I'd scratch off the chrome plating here. So I decided to just leave them on, and yeah, you'll just have to imagine that part. Anyway, last thing. And I was confused by this the first time I built this guy. The last thing is that we put these things on here, right? I'll get this out of the way here. Okay, you see, now basically what these do is they clip together like so, very lightly with very small pegs, because, and I'll show you this in motion afterwards, what happens is when the Zoid switches to what happens when the Zoid switches to Wild Blast mode is this. These have these really thin pegs here holding them together so that they can open easily, but they don't close back up. Once it's switched into Wild Blast mode, it just stays that way. But I'll show you that in motion in a second. Let me just get the pilot on here, because that actually completes the build, or at least sort of the new and interesting part of this build, because you've already seen me assemble the skeleton, and I'm not doing any of this on camera. So yeah, that's the Fang Tiger all put together, and I'll see you guys at the photo booth. Alright, first off, here he is in action. Not to sound dismissive, but there's not much to say here, really. There's the Wild Blast mode, and yeah, that's it. It all works perfectly well and runs smoothly, but it's also pretty much just what you knew it was going to do. Here he is from the side. You can see the head sort of clicking down, and now the mouth starts opening and closing. Same thing as the Wild Liger. Now, here's a comparison with the Wild Liger. This is actually the limited awakening version. Just thought I'd use this one here because I never got around to making a video about it. It's kind of cool how they really look almost nothing alike, even though they're actually the same Zoid underneath. Personally, I prefer the Fang Tiger, but that's mostly just because I am so freaking sick of Liger Zoids. I just never want to look at one again. And I've always liked black and yellow, so there's that. And here they are in motion. The Awakening Wild Liger runs faster than the original version, so that's what you're seeing here. And here's how the Wild Blast modes compare. Nothing particularly different. They actually both seem to be moving the blades at the same speed, or at least the same intervals. So the verdict is, it's fine. I'd say if you're looking at pictures of the Fang Tiger and you like what you're seeing, there's no reason not to get one. It works and it's really solid. If you're kind of iffy about it though, it doesn't have any hidden magic that I can tell you about that could change your mind. I'm guessing this thing's going to be hugely popular because people do like the kitty cats these days, but of course for me personally, I'm mostly just being nice because there's been so few cat and dog Zoids in the Zoids wild line that I don't feel like I need to get mad. So that's it for this one, folks. I expect I'll be back next month with the Dime Pulsar. Until then, like, comment, subscribe, check out my Patreon, and I'll see you all soon.